fully recognized, right? And all of them, when, for instance, I was elected patriarch and I received my confirmation from both the Jordanians, from Palestinians, and Israelis including, I mean, those documents, they refer to the rights and privileges that have been given to us by Umar ibn Khattab. Right? It's a bit confusing.
That situation. How do you see these rights and privileges exercised today?
I come to this.
And how do you see actually the situation not only for the church, but also for the Christians under your authority?
I come to this.
Good.
Yeah.
Could you also say something about how many Christians?
The number of Christians are, I mean, we don't have precise numbers, but from various statistics that have been made here, I mean, in the old city, the number is dwindling, it's maybe 3,000. Before there was a good number of Christians here, right? Now in the Palestinian territories, talking about the Orthodox Christians, the members of our church, there must be around 40,000, something like this, and similar number is within the Green Line in Israel. I'm talking about members of the Orthodox Church, right, of the Patriarchate. Now in Jordan there is a good number. Maybe now there are very conservative 50 to 60,000, but there is a great number that have immigrated to the States and other Latin America and European countries, but especially the States. There is a good number, right? Now, the Patriarchate, the jurisdiction of the Patriarchate embraces the State of Israel, Palestinian territories, and of course Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, and now we have recovered part of our jurisdiction in the area of the Gulf states, like in Qatar. In Qatar we have established ourselves officially, right?
Under here.
Yeah, and yes. And Saudi Arabia comes under our own spiritual jurisdiction, right? Now, the Patriarchate here, because of the holy places, the holy places were always centers that brought together Christians. I mean, all the Christian communities actually gathered around holy places. For instance, if you go to the Church of the Nativity, right? All around the Church of the Nativity you have till today houses, etc. that people they live like, or in Nazareth, or in Cana of Galilee, and other places, even in the Holy Sepulchre. Right? Around the Holy Sepulchre you have houses, you have shops, whatever. Now, because of this physical heritage, the physical inheritance of the Patriarchate emerges as a state within a state. What I mean by this, first of all, the Patriarchate is an independent, autonomous, autocephalous church institution, right? Unlike the other churches, their boss, their point of reference is not here, it's outside Jerusalem, it's far away. I mean, for the Latins, the Catholics, Vatican, Rome is the point of reference. All appointments are coming from there, right? Which means none of those churches here can act independently. The same applies to the Lutheran Church, I think. The same applies to... Anyway, I don't know. Correct me, please. Now...
Not the Lutherans, but
yes, the thing is that the importance of the Patriarchate is associated with the status of Jerusalem. And for me, and from my own experience, the most important issue, which is far more important than Christian presence, is the status of Jerusalem in the holy places. Why? Because you are here not because of the Christian or the Christians here. You are here, first of all, for the holy places. Many church delegations are visiting, or non-church delegations, the Holy Land, but their real concern is Jerusalem and the holy places, right? And Jerusalem. Jerusalem is considered to be a spiritual capital for the whole world, not necessarily Christians, non-Christians as well, right? Now, the Patriarchate here plays a decisive role as far as the status of Jerusalem is concerned. For instance, the Patriarchate recently passed through a crisis. The crisis was very serious. It was a crisis that had political ramifications, right? I'm talking, I want to be more precise, I'm talking about the Jaffa Gate buildings there, right? Imagine if the properties there were taken over by the illegal but legal underground movements, like Ateret Kohanim, etc., those Jewish underground movements. If they have taken over those properties, the whole status of Jerusalem had totally changed, altered. And then new facts would have been established on the ground. Right? Now, another thing is that the Patriarchate is a buffer zone. And this is not my own words. These are words of people that of Israelis, that they are policy makers, right? They do admit that and acknowledge that the Patriarchate acts as a buffer zone between the two people here. Imagine without the presence of the Patriarchate, the clash would be frontal, right? Now, why the Patriarchate plays an important role here? Because I've said before, it has the Patriarchate has inherited this physical heritage. The physical heritage, which came from the Byzantines, is the churches, like the Holy Sepulchre, like the Basilica of the Nativity in Bethlehem, monasteries and other religious places of worship, etc. Right? So it means, I mean, 60% of the old city are very conservative. It's property of the Patriarchate.
60%.
Yeah. And still I'm very conservative, it's very conservative number, right? 60%. Which means, I mean, you enter Jaffa Gate, right? And you came here all along, you walk on property of the Patriarchate, right? And now,
A lot of schools and hospitals.
yeah, this is true.
How many?
We have, now the Patriarchate is very much investing in education. And we have schools here in the Palestinian territories and also in Jordan.
Yeah.
Here we have a very good school in Bet Sahur, also in Ramallah, also in Taibe, also in Gaza we have a very good school. And, of course here in Jerusalem of St. Demetrius, and now we are building schools, also have smaller schools in other places. Now a school is ready, we're about to inaugurate it in Birzet. We took some grants from the European Union, right? And we have also in Jaffa school, and also in Ramla and in Kufr Yesib.
Yes, I understand that you have
And also in Haifa.
60% of the properties in
The old city.
the old city. Is that also schools? Or is
No,
it,
it is monasteries and other properties. I mean, when you go to the Holy Sepulchre, next right and left, there are all sorts of shops. and there are properties of the Patriarchate, but these shops are, rented by the locals without any discrimination whatsoever. You don't know who is who, if he's Christian, if he is. Today, how about the Jews that they are taking over some properties? Yes.
Is that the way you finance running the schools?
No, the problem with the schools, we have some problem because, we are not doing business, unlike other religious institutions here. They do business, so there's nothing wrong. It is a combination of providing education, but at the same time, not free of charge. And sometimes they are very tough, and we have this problem because we have always to pay the price. That is to say, students that they cannot pay, they are thrown out of the school. If they don't pay their fees, they are thrown and they come to us. And what we do? They are crying, all these things. So sometimes you are forced to...
But the finances of the church, is that dependent upon your property?
No, the income is very little. Because, to be honest, the Patriarchate is a philanthropic institution.
But are you funded from Greece?
No, Greece was funding the restoration of preservation of holy places. Yes. But now Greece needs our financial support.
So that wouldn't influence the running of the schools, the economic
The thing
situation?
is this, that of course we have our properties here, and we do invest in our properties, which is not an easy task. Why? Because the properties that the Patriarchate has here are strategic points from the political point of view are of strategic political importance. Right? And therefore, when you are trying to do something, there is an outcry. You have to be very, very wise to think twice.
I know.
Because if you try to, for instance, you have properties which are in between Bethlehem and Jerusalem, right? So these properties are of extremely political significance. Why? Because you know what is the political problem here. So everybody tries to establish facts on the ground. And we're in the middle, we're caught in the middle.
Your Beatitude, I see there is coffee coming. We have to move on quite soon. So we'll have a sip of coffee and then we will have to...
democracy was born in Greece.
We know.
And democracy means anarchy in Greek. Right?
So...
and this is why the Orthodox, we are very, extremist about our Christian faith, right? Because we believe that God was truly anarchist.
Yeah, God was truly anarchist. That's a good theological point. I'll remember that for my Christmas.
I think that will come into the report from this meeting.
Yes.
Could I just ask you another question? Please. About your work regarding to the council which Mr. Bakkevig is facilitating? I think I have met many of the members participating in that dialogue already, and I understand that you find it fruitful to have such a place to have discussions. But is that, or could you in a way implement the good dialogue you have between all the religious leaders in the area to become
an instrument
for peace in the region?
Well, we have to try our best now, and this is what we're doing. And this council, it's very important. Why? First of all, it's for the first time that religious leadership, right, of both countries, of both states, people, they came together. before it was something unthinkable, right? And everybody has his reservations. And the fact that this council has managed to work and has, I think that has given some roots, because the fruits that we are now enjoying is that in our last meeting there was talk about something, not about something concrete. That is to say, in our discussions we realized that education is the most important, significant way to help to educate people, to reduce as much as we can prejudice, bigotry, and above all to promote understanding between each other. Because one of the main problems here is that there are so hermetically, the societies, there is such a polarization, right? And this polarization comes from the fact that the one does not know the other, right? I mean, the one does not know the religious or the culture or the national symbols of the other one, right? And in this respect, I think the Council has done a great progress. But of course, I mean, in order the Council to proceed in real terms, right, to translate its efforts into practice, into act, it needs the moral power, the moral force is there, but there is need for financial and whatever else, material support.
I think we
have to leave.
And we are the largest community.